I served the majority of my mission in rural areas, and so my experiences are not going to be uniform across. A lot of missionaries spend almost their entire missions in the cities. I spent, except for like 6 months of my mission, in rural areas. So my experience with Kenyans is more of like the rural type. But one of the areas I served in was in an area called Kitale. It's in the western portion of Kenya in Rift Valley. And it's a farming community. And it's also where a lot of the election violence in 2008 happened, where a lot of people were like killed or like thrown out of their home. Just a lot of bad things happened, to make a brief story of it. But one of the people that I met there, his name is Brother Kaka, which is ironic and funny, not because in Spanish that word means something bad, but Kaka in Swahili means brother, so his name is literally brother. So I thought that was funny. But he and his family, they were of a different tribe than the area around it. And due to the election violence, they were from rivaling tribes, I guess I should say. And so due to the election, some conflict there, he was surrounded by, or living in an area that was all the other tribe. And so he and his family literally had to take just what they could hold in their hands and run or flee for their lives out of their home. And they walked for several days, hiding during the day in anywhere they can and walking by night, until they eventually got to someone's home out of their area that they knew would keep them safe. And so after a few weeks, they were able to, the election violence and hostility died down, and they were able to, I guess, resume their normal lives. The problem being is that their house and everything had been destroyed. And he was a tailor, and so he didn't, all of his equipment was also destroyed in the fire that people had done or had burned down their house. And so he had moved into the city of Kitale, which is, it's a small town, like very small. But he was working out of his one-bedroom apartment where he had his wife and 4 kids all in their one-bedroom apartment, you could say. And he was trying to get things together so that he could continue working as a tailor. He found an old sewing machine, fixed it up, and other things. The reason why I give all this background is just to explain that he kind of had a hard life, and especially most recently had a very difficult time due to things that were outside of his control and not his fault. And so when I first met him and his family, he was, the thing that I first noticed about him, he was always smiling, and I was like, this guy is like living on top of the world. I'm just so surprised that this guy is happy all the time. And as we continue to meet with he and his family, they in their prayers, something that I would always notice is that they never complained about anything. They would offer a ton of thanks for all the things that they had, and then they would ask for some, just the basic things. They would be very like direct, or things that they were praying for. But he always had an aura of gratitude and thankfulness. Later, the more we met with them, one time he just wanted to meet with us, and we were talking about hardship and sometimes how things don't go the way that we are hoping and so forth. And we just asked him, Brother Kaka, do you have something of an experience like this? Because we were trying to help the kids understand some principles. And he was like, why, yes, I do. And so he shared his story with us, and I was in tears because of the difficulty that they had gone through. But when you look at the family, you would never guess. And that is, I guess, the amazing part of, or amazing attribute of this family and of many people in Eastern Africa. We think that our difficulties are hard, but they go through so much more, and they do it with a smile on their face, and they're just grateful for everything that they have. And so that was a time in my mission where I really got to know and see how blessed I am, but also how blessed how God blesses all of his children with different attributes that they need to be able to live their lives. His family is now doing great. I still keep in contact with them, and they are, doing better. His business, of course, isn't flourishing, but they're being able to make ends meet. And it just is amazing to me, the dedication and the love that God has for each of his children, and being able to help us through regardless of anything that we have. And they're still great people, And so, I don't know, that was just one story that I had of the I guess, stalwartness or the strength of the Kenyan people and of people in Eastern Africa in general.